Okay, welcome to Into the Channel podcast, primarily about women's football. I am your host, Dino De Cespedes, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Grant Engel. What is up, man?
Well, I'm feeling fantastic, buddy. I thought those were two pretty entertaining football matches. A lot of people happy with those results.
Yeah, I know maybe one or two for sure. Yeah, some cream might have risen to the top. We'll talk about that, whether that's true or whether there might have been some anomalies today. But big time football, big time teams in action. Mr. Grant Engel, lot to cover. Where do you want to get started?
Let's get started with a celebratory beverage, my good man. I think we'll make sure we get that out of the way.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you. Cheers to the football. And when in doubt, we always go in chronological order on this program. So let's start with England 4, Netherlands 0. Just an ass kicking pretty much from the jump.
Could have also gone alphabetical order and would have landed in the same spot. So that would have worked. I think we can start first off with some of the lineup changes. So obviously Mead out, Ella Toone in the midfield. I thought Toone looked really, really good in the first matchup. So I was really glad to see her, get these minutes. And then we get Lauren James out on the right. And I don't want to oversimplify it, but I kind of also want to say the rest was history.
That worked. I think it wasn't a small change that Serena Wiegman moved Alex Greenwood to
Carter.
left back and put Jess Carter as a center back. And so all my hand wringing about you can't play Carter out there. You got to play Niamh Charles. And shout to all our pals on the internet who were like, I don't know how much of a difference Niamh Charles is going to make out there on the left. It would turn out Serena Wiegman much smarter than I am and was just like, what if we just did that there? And then to your point, you put Toone in the middle. We also talked about it in the last preview, or in the post-match after the England-France game, that Stanway and Walsh weren't going to play poorly 2 matches in a row. And they certainly didn't with Toone out there. I do just real quick. I set up a video clip for you. Speaking of our predictions and real cogent analysis, I just want to go back to something that was uttered on this program maybe 24 hours ago. You know what? I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to watch England wash Netherlands. Look, I'm a simple man. It was a simple prediction.
Hard to get it more accurate than that. Did you wake up this morning?
I did.
Because England certainly washed the Netherlands. Thoroughly.
They did.
Thoroughly. I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest. A good day of football. I'm happy. A lot of players played really well. A couple that you mentioned. I'm glad you called out Stanway and Walsh because I was a little bit less confident that they were going to be able to turn it around for different reasons. Walsh has been a little, performance is a little bit rocky, and then Stanway obviously working a way back from injury. So for a couple different reasons, I was a little bit cooler on that side of the prediction. But damn, they looked so good. They looked awesome. Stanway, what I love about Stanway is she got herself out of the funk of the first match, which is, I love this, with defense and intensity and press and pressure. And some players need the ball. They need the ball. They need the ball at their feet, or they need the ball at their hands. If we're talking about basketball, they need shot. They need touches to be able to get out of the funk. But I love players like Stanway that could just be like, no, I'm gonna rev my body back up, and I don't even need the ball. I just want to run and smash and press and really make it a long day for you. And that's how I'm gonna get into the match. And then she parlays that into the second goal.
It's such a good call because that's just kind of what type of player she is too. We've talked about her and Walsh obviously since 2023 when you and I started talking about this sport regularly with each other. You'll have an entire half and be like, oh yeah, Stanway was really good that half. And you kind of have to recompute it. But it's after the 5th or 6th time where you're got in the way of that, disrupted that attack. Ooh, nice pass there. Nice connection. Just consistent. And yeah, I think she clearly, both her and Walsh clearly came into this match thinking, well, that's not going to happen again. And they even talked about it, different players. Alessia Russo was pretty vocal about it too, post-match after the France loss, where they were just that's not who we are. We know we're not going to play like that again. We just have to go out there and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And they played great, and they all played great.
Yeah.
Russo played great, but we got to talk. We got to talk about. I mean, the one and only at this point. So September 29th, later this year, is a key date on the calendar, and I'll tell you why. It's when Lauren James turns 24 years old.
Oh, okay.
Still
Veteran.
a pre-prime player.
Yeah.
Could just do things that other players just can't. They just can't do. I mean, I jotted it down and I kind of want to go to it. These are all like kind of sort of micro plays that I just noticed. And I'm just like, oh my God, like nobody else can really do this. So obviously the goal, let's start there. Off the right wing, she comes in, couple touches, hits it, cross back the other way, just perfect placement. And I'm totally digging the sound effect of that rattle when you get the top corner. It's chilling.
Oh, yeah.
And I very, very much enjoyed that LJ goal. But there was another few moments. She puts a cross into Russo in the first half where there's two defenders, and it just reminded me of like Mahomes, where it's like, oh, it's completely covered. Like, and the cross just skips just over the two defenders right to Russo. She's not really able to corral it, but unbelievable play there. LJ again goes one-on-one versus Esme Brooks deep on the right-hand side. A nasty duel. LJ just stretches and reaches, makes contact with the ball, and turns that contact into a cross that somehow gets to Russo on the edge of the six. I'm just like, what the fuck was that? And then on the Stanway goal, she puts the free kick in, kind of like way past any of her offensive like players, but soft enough where the Netherlands defense couldn't really bring it down, and they couldn't really clear it with any kind of power. So it just sort of like squirts and dribbles like out to the 18, finds its way to Stanway. She cracks it. And it was funny because Carly Lloyd on I think it was in the post game, Carly was like, "Oh, Leanne, I was even telling you, what is James doing on that play? It's so weird." So it's like I could just imagine like Carly Lloyd just befuddled, just being like, "Oh, who is this player and what is she doing?" Like I mean, it was a masterclass, and I've just never seen these things on the pitch before.
Mahomes is a really interesting comparison. I mean, sometimes Jason Kidd would throw passes, and that you're just like, oh, I didn't realize that was, you would think of something like that. Or like, Tiger Woods would hit a golf shot where it's just like, wait, what club does he have? What's he thinking about doing? And it's just like, to even have the idea of what she's going to do takes a genius mind of like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to hit it with this force at this speed, and it's going to bend and it's going to land right there. And if my teammate is on the same page with me, that'll work. But then to be able to execute it at full speed, to compute that at full speed and then execute it, like you said, she's one of a kind, man. Like not even 24 yet, beyond spectacular. And she is thinking about the game. There are times too, I'm glad you bring this up, because I was thinking about this. Like sometimes play will stop, like the ball will go out for a throw in, and the camera will pan to her, and she's just kind of like looking around the field too. I know like every player does that, but there's something with her where like the sonar is going off, and she's like already deciding like, oh, okay, I think I know what you're doing, and this is how I'm going to play it. When she's executing, there's just nobody that can stop her.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I kind of hesitate to kind of give this title away, but Lauren James is my favorite player in the women's game. I think like she's just so creative. She's so gifted, so it's like, not only does she know the game, play the game technically, like there was that moment where she controls the ball in the midfield. Like it was like a pop up, and then it kind of lands on her foot, and then she controls it. The control was just out of this world to begin with. And then she just does bop, 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 and then dances around three defenders and then kind of like outside of the footset too. I think it might have been Kira Walsh, but both both announcers here, the US BD and the play-by-play, were just like mesmerized. They're just like, I guess that's just what she does. I mean, add to that the two goals, and just can play anywhere. Like I think LJ was asked after the game, Wiegman put you on the right. That must have worked out. Is that your best spot? She was like, honestly, I'm paraphrasing here. She's like, she chuckles, and she's like, I really don't know where my best spot is. And she's not bullshitting. She's like, she really hasn't. It's sort of like how computers for forever couldn't figure out chess or couldn't solve it for the whole game. Like she's just like, I don't know. It could be there. It could be, I don't know. Maybe I'm the goalkeeper. Who knows? I mean, I could be able to do all of it.
Like if you gave her minutes as a 6, I'm fully confident that she would be great at it. Like, because she'll rip the ball off players too. She takes better angles than players, like defensively, or even when she's running onto a ball in an attacking position. Yeah, like you just cannot say enough about this player. She's just absolutely spectacular. Now, there are moments, and you've seen it with Chelsea. She's been battling injuries too, where we've had those matches in the Champions League where we're like, wasn't an LJ game. So like you want to see what happens as she progresses into her apex prime. But this is what happens when you have those kind of superlative players. Like we talk about Schurtenleib's ceiling being a Ballon d'Or. I mean, I think Lauren James has the exact same thing. I mean, she could just have a monster season where maybe she won't be a 20 goal scorer, but she could absolutely dominate the run of play. And if she does it consistently throughout a season, you've seen those kind of players win that award in the past.
Absolutely. And I think, honestly, I think she could be a 20 goal
Probably.
scorer.
Yeah, that's true.
If that's what, the situation called for. I mean, I don't think she's going to be on a team that is going to necessitate that, but I don't know, man, such a tremendous player. But I do want to talk about the Netherlands a little bit because I thought this was a poor performance. No real adjustments, no real defensive strategy. I think like you have a team, and this is the other part real quick, last little bit about LJ. I actually have two little quick things on LJ, but for a player that young to essentially emotionally kind of like throw England on her back and just be like, hey, like, I know that our backs against the wall is a little bit tricky, but don't worry. And when she smashes the first goal, she just kind of half smiles, just like, come on, I told you we'd have to worry about this. Not that anybody was worried, which leads me to card corner.
Oh, let's go.
So this one is a Lauren James rookie card from the 2021-22 Topps Chrome set, which was the first Topps Chrome set since women's football cards started being produced by Topps Chrome. So this is the first year Topps Chrome. Very special. Lauren James rookie. It's autographed. There's only 75 of these. It's the Inferno edition. And Lauren James was in fuego today. So I think that's pretty fitting. And real LeBron James Game 6 in Boston vibes, back against the wall, prodigy, I was waiting for this LJ game, like in this type of situation, back against the wall, a lot of questions surrounding her. And stepped up in a massive way.
The broadcast, at least here in the States, was really harping on the fact that no defending Euro champion has been knocked out in the group stage. And I think the stat even extended to no title holder has even lost their first group stage match in the following tournament. So, their backs were against the wall. You read stuff over in The Guardian or on BBC and people are just, it's amazing how short people's memories are, but it's just like, the fire's rising around Serena Wiegmann. They're literally the champions of this tournament going in, and they made the World Cup final. But okay, I get, fine. It's a short career in like international football managing, so I guess it makes sense. I won't get too up in arms about that. But to your point, she put the team on her back, and then you nailed it earlier too. There wasn't a bad performance. There was hardly even an average performance across the entire 11 today for England.
Yeah, that's a great point. You can think about everybody, like even Hannah Hampton has that sick pass.
That pass
was just ridiculous. But that kind of also makes me think about the Netherlands and being, again, a little bit disappointed. I don't think I saw a single first half adjustment. I don't think I saw a single like defensive strategy kind of like take shape. It was just a lot of like, all right, go out there and find the person closest to you and then stay close to them and let's see what happens. Because it was really, really porous and offensively just couldn't get anything going. Like this Netherlands side is only going to attempt 4 shots in the match. Crazy. The first one coming at the 25-minute mark, 1 shot on target. I had one other stat here. So England touches in their own half, 154. Touches in Netherlands half, 154. Netherlands in their own half, 202. Opposition half, 82. They just could not get the ball across the line.
We talked about Jill Roord after their first match against Wales and how she's known to calibrate and get a lot of shots off. She had 1 shot today, obviously not on target. I think the most glaring wild stat, and this is courtesy of our pals at FootMob. Viviana Miedema had 10 touches in the match in her time on the field. And if she's just never going to get the ball, well, she played 66 minutes, and it felt like what? So they were down, yeah, they were down 3-0 at 66, and then, they take Miedema off, and you get the Toon goal like shortly after that. Even when they took Miedema off, that felt like white flag time. Like it was, and obviously you're down at that point, you're down 3-0 with, 25 minutes left. But I thought that was interesting. And to get Miedema off the field, like, okay, you've barely touched the ball. We know your health issues. We're just going to get you out of here. Just a bitterly disappointing performance from her.
I mean, I think the one thing to mention there is the goal differential is a huge tiebreaker. So
that's fair.
Even if you go down 2-0, 3-0, it's like you can't really pack it up. Like that could be that fourth goal, the Ella Toon goal, could be the difference between advancing and not advancing. I thought the subs were weird. You take off Esme Brooks really early in the match. Don't replace her with the same level of firepower. I don't know. A lot of befuddling things. And then I think you add to that Yonkers on the way out. I think this is his last kind of hurrah at the helm.
Yeah, I think the Dutch Federation announced that earlier in the year. And, forgive me, I can't remember the assistant coach for England, but he's going to be stepping into his place. I'll tell you, when I heard that on the broadcast, I was like, hopefully nobody's sharing any information either way. But I was like, okay, you would be risking your entire career doing something stupid like that. So, like, obviously, it was just weird to think, how often those situations can come up. But yeah, it was weird to see, Miedema comes off and Daniela Van de Donk comes on, and it's just like, for a player like her to be brought on in that situation, your team's just getting stomped at that point. And she played so well in the previous match. It's like a real rough spot for her as well, I thought.
I mean, like at this point with a performance like that, you have to imagine that they show up versus Germany and get absolutely rolled again. I mean, I think they, I think it's just seemed like 1-2-3 Cancun type territory. Like, I don't know that any of them really wanted to play that hard. Nobody really wanted to defend that hard. I mean, they couldn't move the ball. Like, this team is not 4 goals worse than England. I think the smart money is probably on France in that third match.
Yeah, it's gonna be very, very interesting to see, because I think when we were talking about Group C yesterday, and we were talking about Germany, like in the build-up, and again, I can't remember if it was a Nations League match or a friendly. I want to say it was Nations League, but Germany stomped Netherlands 4-0 in one of those matches. So, like, they have this in them. They still have a ton of talent. They have a lot of players with a lot of pride and a lot of pedigree. Some of these players were on that 2017 Euro winning team, Viv Miedema included, of course. So I don't know. You see these ebbs and flows, and you have to account for France and what they might do in a very big spot. So I'm still very much looking forward, and I know you are too. But I'm very much looking forward to what match day 3 in this group holds, because I think it's fair to say that they were flat and they didn't play well in this match. And you're like, oh, they didn't get up for it. If you can't get up for this match against France for your tournament livelihood, then you don't have a pulse. And I believe these players do.
I'm with you. I'm like 90% with you there, because I don't think it's an effort. I don't think it was a player. The players weren't up for it, had effort. I don't think that they knew what to do. Like, I don't think that they were ready for LJ on the right. I don't think they were ready for Ella Toon. I don't think that they were ready for that lineup, or, Greenwood and Carter, that switch. They had, Boorman in there, who gets subbed off at halftime, the teenager. And, she's kind of having to battle on the LJ side. Russo obviously had a massive game 3 assist. I don't think we mentioned her yet, but she was unbelievable. Everything she did was accurate and correct. So I think, I feel like it's going to be France, England pretty easily, but I absolutely take your point that France could absolutely France, and it could just turn this whole thing inside out. And speaking of Le Bleu, France 4, Wales 1. Where do you want to get started with this one?
Credit to Wales, man. They fight. Let's just talk about it. I know that it wasn't the first goal that was scored. Just motherfucking Fishlock. Come on, man. What a
Is
moment.
that's exactly what I had in my notes.
Are you serious?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I didn't mean to step on your line. I mean, but it's like, what else can you say about her? Like, it's so great that she got that goal.
I don't know that I was going to say it on the show, but I certainly had it. It's right here. That second point. It's right in my notes.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
I loved the Jackie Goatley. Her call was really something. I think she kind of knew that this was going to be, work its way up into the annals. But when she hit the Wales get their goal at long lost, I was just like, it was so dreamy and picturesque. I was just like, I think I'm going to be seeing this clip for a very long time. She definitely met the moment. So shout out to Goatley for sure. Maybe not the last shout out Goatley's going to get on this show. Talk about that one later. But yeah, congrats to Wales. Big time history. This is another one that you called that you wanted to see. I'm not sure. Did you say Fishlock or?
No, this was halfway. I feel like this is halfway getting a prediction right, because I was talking about I want to see Poland score in their final match and get their first ever Euro goal.
Oh, my bad.
As debutantes. No, I'm taking 50% credit for this too, because I want to, when you have a debutante in a tournament, we talked about it with Jamaica in the 23 World Cup. You don't want to see a team just make it for the first time and then just get blanked 3 times in a row. Like it's cool to get that goal, to break that seal, open the account, all the football cliches you want to throw out there. And for it to be her, I know I use this phrase a lot, it had to be her. And it was amazing to watch the crowd reaction, her teammates, everything about it was just beautiful.
Yeah, and then the game situation, which we talked about earlier. So, this wasn't a 4-0 going to 4-1. This was a 1-0 going to 1-1 that they carried almost into the half, which would have just been, the first half was dazzling just from that standpoint. And right. I want to read you just some stats real quick, because I think these are very telling. Touches in the opponent's half. France dominates that stat, 316-41. Touches in the opposition box, 37-18 for France. So even though they were like almost 10x, they're only double when it gets to getting into the box, which means that Wales, super efficient. They only had 41 touches in the opposition half. 18 of those they got all the way into the 18. So and then 6 shots and 4 on target. So like incredibly efficient. They squeezed every bit of value out of what was available to them. They played their asses off, and it was just really inspiring. And I think to see the performance that they had, especially in that first half, and then to juxtapose that between England and Netherlands, what Netherlands did, it was just like such a disappointment, to see Wales come out and just be like, we're way, way undermanned, but we're going to play so much harder, and we're going to make this a game for as long as we possibly can.
Yeah, and it goes back to, the ethos of their team. You have Fishlock. I thought Sherry Holland, Liverpool player, who had the assist on that. Just how emblematic is that of the fight in that team, where she's on her back and just knows, if I can just get this little poke to the captain, to the legend, and she'll make it happen. And pardon me, Angarad James Turner was the captain of this match, but still, Fishlock, the icon of the team. And for her to just get that poke to her for it, they were ready to scrap it out in typical Welsh style. And, they held on, like you said, completely underdogs in the talent perspective, but they held on as long as they could. And that's worthy of anybody's respect.
I think on the France side, we got to talk about Clara Mateo. Involved in everything, pre-FC superstar, obviously league leader in goals. Whether it's scoring goals or earning penalties that become goals or assisting she was just involved everywhere. Kind of like a showcase moment for Mateo, because that's not a player that we've talked about quite a bit, and I think, such heavyweights in that forward room for France. You kind of take Mateo for granted a little bit, but this was a great, great performance from her. Just like instinctive, hungry, twitchy, like a step ahead, almost every opportunity. I thought it was a really big time performance from Mateo.
Yeah, gigantic. It was, once she had the press, the steal, and the assist on Marjorie's goal, then when I did the math, I was like, oh, okay, so she scored the opener then drew the penalty, and now this. I was like, okay, have yourself a day, Claire Mateo. Like, that's pretty fantastic. That one's going to live on forever.
It's something just to hit that assist to Majri.
Right.
So then you add to that, like ripping it off the keeper, possessing it, like kind of like clearing out the space. Like there's so many little things that built up. And I think that's what you see with those great scorers. It's not just the one thing. We talked about that with the Hegerberg goal early in the tournament, just like the pivot, step, like weaving through to get to that spot. It's what these great players are able to do. It's all the little moments in and around the action that really kind of separate them.
Yeah, no doubt. And, to think she's often going to be behind Marie Antoinette Katoto, one of the best number 9s in the world. So now you have this like change of speed. They'll come in and out of matches for each other. Just no relief for the opponents. You have to always ask yourself, is France going to see this through? That still remains a question. I'll tell you what's absolutely going to help is Grace Gayoro being nearly impossible for opponents to deal with, at least in these first two matches. I mean, we talked about it. She was kicking England's ass out there in the first match, and she followed it up again, a goal today, and just looked like a total stunner out there.
So good. I mean, 2 shots, 2 on target, and a big game player. We've seen her do this in the Champions League, like, match in, match out. I mean, like, they need it. They need somebody to step up, and she's just that type of player. And with all of I thought it was really interesting too, all of the roster turnover, so 7 different players make an appearance in today's starting lineup. Gayoro, one of the players that was not swapped out, so it's like, all right, we're going to make these kind of changes. We need a pillar here. We need somebody that's going to keep everything, on time and on track. And that's exactly that player, and a big game today for Gayoro.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, obviously, Diani scores the penalty. Not her best penalty, but she squeaks it through. She also has the assist.
That's what it would look like if I took a penalty. Only I would be trying my best.
Right. And just pray the keeper only gets a toe on it. Yeah, I mean, Ndongala was good. Had some real kind of cheeky moments. Ndongala, real clever defender. Just kind of like makes some moves. Had a perfectly executed dive late in the match too to like draw a foul. That was so clearly a dive, but completely fooled the referee. The talent speaks for itself. Some players got some well deserved rest in this match, and now they have to go beat the Netherlands, and they have to beat the allegations. They have to beat the fraud allegations. Because people on Woso Blue Sky can be a treacherous place, and they'll let you know if they think you don't live up to your potential. Ask Norway, ask France. Woso Twitter or Blue Sky, pardon me, is not super friendly about those kind of things. Or it's usually in good fun, but I could see how some of those players, if they look at some of the stuff, might not think it's a big barrel of laughs.
I certainly hope that Le Blue Sky doesn't turn on this team, because I think they're definitely on the right track. Interesting machinations. So Netherlands still can advance if they outpoint England on match day 3. So let's just start there. So they need to win, and England draws, they get through. If England beats Wales, Netherlands needs to beat France by 3 or more goals. So I think all of it, like right there, it's kind of like definitely up against it. Going to be tough. I think France pretty much in the driver's seat. I think all they need is a draw, right?
Yeah, all they have to do is avoid a loss to the Netherlands by a margin of 3 goals or more.
Okay, yeah, and that's it. That's if England wins. Yes, because England would need to get up to 6 points. So yeah, I think this one's probably going to be England, France. Group A back in action tomorrow. A really fun one. I really like too that all the matches go concurrently now. So now we're just sitting in that 12 p.m. PT time slot. We can make some business decisions on what we're watching live, and do we want 1 screen? What do we want to do? I think tomorrow for me, it's going to be Finland, Switzerland. I think I'm going to lock in on that one, figure out who's going to grab that second spot. And then cardio alert, Norway and Ireland in the other Group A match. So I probably will highlight that one unless something crazy happens. But yeah, Norway already clinched, Iceland already eliminated. So don't expect a ton of drama there.
I think you may have said, and I hate to be the guy. I don't hate to be the guy. I think on that first reference, you may have said Norway, Ireland. So just remember, Norway plays Portland tomorrow.
That's right. Yep. Portland, Ireland.
That's right. So I'm going to be on full no spoilers mode. I got to be totally locked in. I got something big that I'm working on. So I'm going to watch that match after work. We'll do the live production. If you watch all of Switzerland, Finland, I'll watch all of Norway, Iceland, and then maybe we'll collaborate in case anybody could possibly care about that before tomorrow's episode.
We're talking to you, single listener, on the edge of your seat, figuring out who's going to cover which match.
Exactly.
All right, man. I think we did it. Anything else you want to hit before we get out of here?
That's it, man. That's another great day of football. And like you said, now we're in the concurrent matches. We're on to, I think I've heard some people refer to it as round 3, which I think is typical football parlance. So round 3 of the group stage, we made it. At first, we didn't make any promises. We were just like, oh yeah, we won't guarantee that we're going to cover every day. I mean, we're cruising there now, dude. Like this, we're up 3-0.
I've got Ireland playing Portland in the final. I can't read. Things are going.
I can't do math. No, that's fair. But look, you know what? You got to go through the trials and the tribulations to make it through a tough stretch like this. I think we're doing it. I think we're going to get there 12 in a row.
Yeah, debutantes. I mean, give it some slugs. Our first Euros. What are we going to do?
That's fair.
All right, man. This has been another episode of Into the Channel. Thank you for hanging out and tolerating us and all our foolishness. If you enjoyed the show or love women's football as much as your boys do, make sure you're kicking it with us each and every single week. Like, subscribe, follow YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to watch or listen. Leave us a review over your favorite podcast app. Links to all of our socials, except one, in the show notes of this episode. And a big thank you to my co-host as well, Mr. Grand Eagle, for Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D, match days, match weeks. Doesn't matter. You're a champ in my book. The only running mate that I could ever imagine knocking out so many shows and so many days at this glorious tournament with. So I appreciate you, bro.
Likewise, buddy. I mean, I think it's safe to say we might not know the winners of Group D just yet. I think Into the Channel won Group D. I don't think there's any questioning that. So congratulations to you as we make our way into to match day 3. So now we get to get some cardio in these last few matches. So I think that'll be nice. And thank you to everybody for hanging out with us, dropping knowledge in the comments. I got replies coming. With this plus the day job, it's been a little tricky, but we appreciate all the knowledge you guys have been kicking to us. So we'll make sure that we reach out to you soon, and we will see you all next time.